Coach, I promise I will only think about football this summer. We're gonna be back on the road in no time.
The Zombies franchise is officially heading back to the big screen, and this time, things are about to get a whole lot more mysterious. Disney has officially given the green light to Zombies 5, Secrets of the Sea, with the next chapter scheduled to arrive on Disney Channel and Disney Plus sometime in 2027. Production has already moved forward, with the Zombies franchise is officially heading back to the big screen, and this time, things are about to get a whole lot more mysterious. Disney has officially given the green light to Zombies 5, Secrets of the Sea, with the next chapter scheduled to arrive on Disney Channel and Disney Plus sometime in 2027. Production has already moved forward, with filming taking place in New Zealand between March and June. That makes this only the second movie in the franchise to be filmed outside Toronto, which is already a pretty big change for the series. As for the story, Zombies 5 will pick up after the events of Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires, where the Daywalkers and vampires finally managed to find some kind of peaceful balance. Unfortunately, that peace isn't going to last very long. A mysterious group of powerful mermaids suddenly arrives in Rayburn, and they aren't exactly coming in peace. Using an enchanting siren song, the mermaids began attracting people to their side, creating a new threat that could completely destroy the fragile relationship between the different supernatural groups. With the situation getting more dangerous, Nova and Victor are forced to work together once again. They'll have to bring their communities together, figure out what the mermaids actually want, and stop another supernatural conflict before everything they've built falls apart. But the story isn't the only major change coming with Zombies 5. The franchise is also entering a new era when it comes to its main characters. Malachi Barton and Freya Skye, who became fan favorites as Victor and Nova in Zombies 4, are now officially taking center stage. That means the franchise is moving forward with a brand new pair of leads. And yes, this means two familiar faces will be missing from the screen. Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly, who have played Zed and Addison since the very beginning, will not be returning as on-screen characters in Zombies 5. However, their connection to the franchise isn't completely over. Both actors are still attached to the movie as executive producers, so they'll continue contributing to the series from behind the scenes. Still, this marks a huge milestone because Zombies 5 will be the first installment where the original leading duo doesn't actually appear as characters. There are also a few familiar faces coming back. Trevor Torgman is returning as Bucky Buchanan, a character fans last saw in Zombies 3. Meanwhile, Emily Costi is joining the cast as Izzy, who is described as Zed's zombie cousin and a new transfer student. Her arrival could give the story another interesting connection to the original Zombies characters, even with Zed himself sitting this chapter out. Behind the camera, Disney is keeping plenty of the franchise's familiar creative talent. Paul Hone, who has directed and executive produced the Zombies movies from the beginning, is returning to direct and executive produce this fifth installment. Longtime executive producers Jane Fleming, Mark Ordesky, Joseph Rosso, and David Light are also back. The movie's dance numbers will once again be an important part of the experience, with Dondre Johnson handling choreography, while Tom Howe is providing the original musical score. And if you're wondering why Disney is continuing to invest so heavily in zombies, the numbers tell the story. The first 3 movies became major hits with kids and tween audiences, ranking number 1 in their respective premiere years according to Nielsen. Across the franchise, the movies have reportedly accumulated hundreds of millions of hours of viewing in the United States. Zombies 4 was especially successful, bringing in around 9.3 million global views during its first 9 days before reaching roughly 43 million views within 6 months. That kind of performance explains why Disney is clearly treating Zombies as one of its major Disney Channel franchises. And Zombies 5 isn't arriving in isolation either. Disney is currently leaning heavily into several of its biggest nostalgic and youth-focused properties, with projects connected to franchises like High School Musical, Hannah Montana, Descendants, and Camp Rock also keeping the Disney Channel brand busy. But the biggest question now is whether Zombies 5 can successfully move forward without Zed and Addison appearing on screen. Those 2 characters were at the heart of the original trilogy and became the faces most closely associated with the franchise. At the same time, zombies for already introduced fans to Nova and Victor, giving Disney a natural opportunity to transition the story toward a new generation. This time, the supernatural world is getting even bigger. We've already had zombies, humans, werewolves, aliens, and vampires enter the franchise's universe, and now mermaids are joining the party. Considering the title Secrets of the Sea, it's pretty clear that the ocean and whatever is hiding beneath it will play a major role in the next adventure. The mermaids also sound very different from some of the previous threats. Instead of simply attacking Rayburn, they're using their powers to influence people and recruit new allies. That could create a much more psychological conflict for Nova and Victor because they won't necessarily know who they can trust. If the siren song can convince people to switch sides, then the biggest challenge may not be defeating the mermaids, but keeping everyone united long enough to discover their real plan. So, at this point, the basic picture is pretty clear. Zombies 5, Secrets of the Sea is officially happening. The story will introduce mermaids as the newest supernatural threat, and Nova and Victor are stepping up as the new central characters. Zed and Addison won't be appearing on screen, but Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly are still involved behind the scenes as executive producers. Bucky is returning. A new zombie character named Izzy is joining the story, and the movie is currently targeting a 2027 release. The Zombies franchise is clearly entering a new chapter, and if Disney manages to make Nova and Victor just as compelling as Zed and Addison were, this could be the beginning of an entirely new era for the series. Now all that's left is to find out what these mysterious mermaids actually want, and whether Rayburn's supernatural piece can survive another major threat.